Some of us turned it off for the meditation. This would be a perfect time to turn them back on because we're going to do an amazing implement series.
Yes. So I would love to tune in to everyone here. And oh, yes, thank you so much for telling me that, Randall. You're the best. I would love to tune in to this session. We're already in this beautiful auric field. So, as Chelsea expressed, we're going into the energy of wild love, attracting the one. So, when you hear that, I would love for all of you who are here with us right now to write into the chat box your intention for this time together. What would you like to call forward from this moment? I like to be in this understanding that we are in a quantum field right now. So even though we're not physically together, we are together energetically. And so when we state our intention, we are allowing the universe to understand and know what it is that we desire to come through in this moment. So take your time, really feel into it, close your eyes, put a hand on the heart. What does it feel like? What is it that you are desiring to get from this hour together? Thank you, Hannah. Full cup, beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, so, So what we will do together today, and hi, I'm Rachel, is we'll talk a little bit about the energy of relationships. And I really love to interact. So if you guys have specific questions, please feel free to ask them. I will do my best to get to them. And then we will end off with a sensual expression and some meditative space, but we will do a little bit of movement, mostly with our upper half, getting into the base of the spine and really enlivening our being and body. So existing, connecting, yes. Beautiful. I love what Nicole said. I intend to love myself and in turn realize that everything is an extension of me. So I can love everyone and everything around me as deeply as possible. I love that, Nicole. So beautiful. Thank you for that. So, okay. Yes. Now that we're here, I'm going to ask all of you to close your eyes. And let's just take a moment to drop our awareness into our body. Wherever you are, breathing all the air out. Shh. Deep breath in through the nose. And an audible sigh. Two more, just like that. Deep in through the nose. One more, releasing everything. Now, right from that space, keeping the eyes closed, we're just going to shake out our body, shaking out our hands, shaking out our face, opening up our jaw, making a sound, shaking it out. Make the weirdest sound you can make. Open up the jaw, stick out the tongue. Beautiful. Yes. Gorgeous, my loves. So now we're connected into this field. So we're all together in this. So as Chelsea expressed, I wear many hats, and I would say they're all under the same umbrella, which is sensuality. Sensuality is how I exist in the world. It's how I approach the world. It's how I experience the world. And sometimes this word can be limiting from what people perceive it to mean. Sensuality just means maybe like, oh, I'm sexy. That's what people tend to think. But what sensuality really means is you are embracing and meeting your senses. Sensuality is a sensory experience, right? You're engaged with all of your senses. You're experiencing the world and the moment and the fullness of the moment with all of your senses, with your sight, with your hearing, with your touch, with your taste. Everything is heightened so that you can experience what's really happening. Now, why do I say this? The senses are what allow us to truly be present to what is. So when we say, I want love, I want to experience deep love, I want to feel it in my body, I want to feel what it feels like to be surrendered into love, right? So many of us are expressing this. Now, if we aren't in tune with our senses, we're very likely going to miss the moments of love that exist all around us all the time. Most importantly, the moments of love that exist already within us all the time. So we've all heard that incredible Rumi quote. It's about the barriers that we have against love within us. So that's really where I want to start. Is love is a very mysterious, beautiful, detail-oriented, complex, living being. Everything, my belief is that everything that exists on the planet comes from love. When you are feeling great pain, when you are feeling hate, when you are feeling anger, when you are feeling disgust, it all stems back to love, right? You feel pain because you love someone so deeply. You feel pain when there's murder because you have love for humanity. It's all ingrained in us. It's that deep, innate, intrinsic awareness of all of us existing as one. Right? So when we are blocked from love within us, not only are we resisting love around us, we are resisting love within us. So why I say the senses are so important is because your sensory experience is one of the most enjoyable and fun ways to return you to the love of the moment. The perfect example is food. When you sit down and have an incredible meal, what does it feel like? It feels orgasmic. It feels blissful. Your whole body is turned on. You're in this state of surrender, and everything around you looks more beautiful because everything is heightened. Right? How many of us have had that experience? Raise your hand. Yeah. It's a common experience, right? Because we are fully present with what is happening around us. So I'm going to use this metaphor. There's obviously been times when we have maybe eaten food that had a really bad reaction with us. Gotten food poisoning, we've gotten sick, people have gotten E. coli, all these different things that happen, right? You got a bad oyster or a bad piece of chicken, or maybe, you ate a salad that had some sort of thing on it. We've all had these experiences, right? Can everyone raise their hand and say they've had an experience where they have gotten a little bit sick from eating food? Right. Perfect example, right? So if you've gotten sick from eating food, there can be this awareness in your body, like, I never want to eat again. Because I got sick from that one piece of salad that I ate, I'm never going to eat salad again. Or I'm going to shame that salad every single time I see it. That's how we approach love. We have a tendency as human beings to have an experience with love that taints our entire experience therefore after. And of course it's natural, because when we feel hurt, we close, right? Again, I'm using the senses because that's how I experience everything. You can see it in your body. When you think about a past love who's hurt you, you feel a physical contraction in your body. It's like, ooh. And what that is our body's defense mechanism. It's a way to protect ourselves. Oh, okay, I'm never going to do that thing again. Now let's go even further. I like to use these silly metaphors because it's fun to understand in a different way. Our mind works with this. say you're in a foreign country and you're walking on the street and you have had an experience with, let's use an oyster that has been sitting out in the sun um, for probably 3 days. And the guy told you that it's been sitting out in the sun for 3 days. I think it's still good. You can try it, see what happens. You try it, it's disgusting, you get sick. So the next time you have this experience, you know not to eat the oyster that's been sitting out in the sun for 3 days. But you're not going to use that same energy towards someone who literally takes an oyster out of the sea, cracks it open in front of you, washes it, and hands it to you. It's a very different experience, right? But our tendency is to bring the same experience from the oyster that's been sitting out for 3 days to the oyster that just came out of the ocean. So I say all this because our tendency as human beings is to walk around with this huge backpack full of stones. We have this weight on our back and we carry it everywhere we go. And we carry it almost as like a celebration of this is all that I've been through. And we'll dissect that together, but we carry it around and then we meet someone and we take off our bag, we place it in front of them and they're like, here, this is what you have to deal with. This is all the shit that I gathered from this past relationship that now, therefore, I want you to fix. Can we all resonate with this? Raise your hand. Yeah. And again, I really want you all to know that this is totally normal because we're not, luckily now in this beautiful time of our lives, we have all these incredible experiences like this, where this sort of awareness and knowledge is present and we get to soak up all these different incredible wisdoms from people all over the world. But back in the day, we didn't know better. So we're just carrying around our trauma and saying, can you heal me? Can you fix me? Can you complete me? Are you the person that's going to make me feel okay? And now, there's nothing inherently bad about that just idea, because I really truly believe that we do so much healing in relationship. I've been with my husband for 8 years. We've gone through so much ups and downs, and our relationship is better now than it's ever been. And that's because we have healed and continue to heal each other through all of our practices. But our tendency is to bring all of our stuff to a new relationship and say, you must fix me. And then the next thing we say, but I'm not going to fix you. I want you to complete me. I want you to heal me. I want you to make me feel okay. But I'm not going to help you. I'm not going to heal you. I'm not going to do anything for you. Right? There's this thing of like waiting for someone to come in and complete us and giving all of our power over to this other person that therefore doesn't know really what to do. And when they say, I don't actually know what to do, can you help me? We get mad at them for not showing up for us. And I want to say this particularly for women, and I'm going to be trigger warning, trigger warning right here. I know that we've been repressed. We've been suppressed. That is fucking known, right? And there's all this energy around women need to feel safe. Women need to feel safe. Women need to feel safe. Yes, 100% we need to feel safe. That is absolutely true. And men need to feel safe too. Men, women, trans, they, them, every human being on this planet needs to feel safe. So if we can come into relationship, any sort of relationship, with that awareness that we are creating safe spaces for us to heal together, we have a very different understanding than bringing in our bag of stones, expecting someone else to do the work for us. And when they don't, getting really upset at them. So the other aspect of this is this idea of perfection. You know, we're in this crazy, spectacular world where we're really bombarded with this societal conditioning of perfection. And how this comes in I would say the new spiritual community is the language of, I want to find my king. I want to find my king. I want to find my queen. I want to find my queen. So the next layer of this is, when you think about that energy, I want to find my king. Say this: I want to find my king. I want to find my king. What you're saying is, I want to find the person that I think is perfect. And I meet this person, and as soon as I see a flaw, I say, they're not my king. I'm out. And what this does is subconsciously tells you, yourself, that I need to be perfect in order to attract my partner. So any flaw that I'm experiencing means I'm not worthy of love, which is such fucking bullshit. Excuse my French, but I like the word fuck because it shows the emphasis. It's bullshit. The term that I like to use all the time is, we can be healing and whole at the same time. That's what we are. That's what we are here to do and experience. Consciousness, which we are all obviously fond of because we're here right now, is ever expanding, ever evolving. It never stops. So if you get to a place of perfection, great, I'm healed, I'm done. You die. You die. Bye-bye. You're done. Once you stop desiring to live and experience this beauty of this life, you leave your body. I mean, obviously you don't die, you go off to infinite life and it's wonderful, but you leave this experience of this journey. And if you decide to do that, that's perfect. But if you want to be here and experience what we're here to experience, because we came into this beautiful vessel for a reason, we have to come to that awareness that healing is beautiful. Healing is divine. Healing is not something to be ashamed of. Healing does not mean that you are broken. None of you are broken. None of us are broken. We're all beautiful. We're all magnificent. We're all deeply and profoundly precious. And if we can take that stand for ourselves, then we can also take that stand for the person that's standing right in front of us. We actually can see the person standing right in front of us versus our projections of who we think they are that make us feel better about ourselves. Right? My husband and I have been through so much together. We've experienced infidelity, we've experienced tons of heartbreak, and we have birthed each other anew in many, many experiences. Now, we're the same person. Our essence is the same because we're all the same, right? We're all this beautiful divinity, but we have evolved together. Now, if in the beginning I was so focused on what he wasn't, I would be missing what he actually is. So that alone, that little sentiment right there is so powerful. For me, I think the most profound tool in partnership, any sort of relationship, but specifically in loving partnership, is appreciation. Appreciation is so powerful. It is so potent. We all love to be appreciated. When someone says, thank you so much for doing that, that made me feel so good. Whether it was literally you taking out the trash, or you putting your blinker on, or you saving their life, it still feels wonderful to be appreciated. Now, I say all of this because of the really, like, the big blinking red light. How are you appreciating yourself? And I say this because oftentimes when we experience heartbreak and heartache, we do two things. We shame and judge ourselves, or we shame and judge the other person. And that keeps us in this vortex, this energy, this downward spiral of not enoughness, unlovability, the perfectionism stuff. Instead of just seeing us as we view nature, When we view trees, we don't go outside and we say that one's fat and that one's skinny and that one's, we say all of these are unique and perfect exactly as they are. And they die and then they are reborn and then they die and then they are reborn and then they die and then they are reborn. So that aspect of learning how to appreciate ourselves and every past relationship that we've ever been in. And then if you're in current relationship, especially the one you're in. It sounds so simple, but it's like we have all of these contingencies on love. We expect so much from love. We expect it to be something. And so we're stuck in the energy of expectation, which puts us in a future state. And so we miss out on the presence of what's happening right here, right now. So, yes, I love what Azuro said. If you are close to perfection in one topic, you will look for other topics. Yeah. We want to continue evolving. And that's what love is. Love is a constant blossoming of our togetherness, but of you as an individual in the mirror of that expression of the person opposite you. It's not about my partner or my husband. It's about who I am with him, who I am becoming in the midst, in the wake of his presence, and vice versa. How clean is our mirror? And our mirror can only be as clean as we allow it to be. How are we forgiving ourselves for the experiences and the heartache that we've had in the past or that we've caused ourselves, and learning from it versus condemning ourselves for it? Who's condemned themselves before? Yeah. So, as I expressed before, senses. Everything that's ever happened to us exists in our body. It's living in our body, right? It's the same way that if you've had a really, really, really terrible experience and then you're reminded of that experience, your whole body can relive it, right? Because you're carrying that sensory memory inside of you. And so oftentimes when it comes to relationships with love, with attracting someone, there is a deep tendency to have that frequency, that vibrational imprint in us that we're not even aware of. It's sitting in our subconscious. So for me, the very, very beginning of this is learning how to forgive. You know, people are expressing, I don't know if I can ever love again. And they think it's the person that they loved so deeply, without realizing that they are the ones that allowed themselves to love that deeply. They did that. You did that. The other person didn't do that for you. You allowed yourself to do that. So you can do it again and again and again and again. So remembering that if you got hurt in the past, it's a choice for you to decide to alchemize that, forgive that part of yourself, use it so you don't get that same oyster that's been sitting out for 3 days, and you go to the oyster that's coming right out of the water that you know is going to be fresh. You know, and sometimes you're going to get a fresh oyster, you're going to get sick. It doesn't mean you're never going to eat that thing again. Right? You're using things to fine tune. It's really in the body. So are we using something that someone or people said in the past to shut down, to close off, to no longer feel the presence and the essence of love right here in this moment? It's a choice. I say that because A lot of people come to me and say, "How do I trust again? How do I trust again?" Trust is a choice. It's not something that you are just blindly have, because all of us have had our trust broken in our lives. Every single one of us, in some way or another, some more than others. And we can choose to do that again with more awareness, with more understanding. The idea of trust is really using the power of our mind to serve us versus enslave us. So this awareness that I believe it was Brene Brown who spoke about it first, which is amazing. So when we experience something really terrible in our lives, and some years down the road or months down the road, there's a scenario that happens that maybe like two tiny things that resemble that past experience. What our mind will do is gather all this information and bring it in and plug it in, resembling the past situation in order to protect us. And so that's what our being does. It's a defense mechanism. It comes from back way back in the day. When I go out at this time of night, there's a possibility that there's going to be lions out and I might die. So therefore, I go out with, a particular thing of safety. And I know that the next time when I hear that sound that last time was a lion, I'm going to think, okay, it's a lion again. So I'm on guard, right? It's the same thing. We're bringing it over. It's our epigenetics. We're bringing it over to now. Oh, that thing happened. He cheated on me in the past. She cheated on me in the past. That means every man and every woman is always going to cheat. Or they're always going to this, or they're always going to do that, or blah, 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 right? That is something that we all have a tendency to carry around. These absolutes, these generalizations. All women are crazy. All men are cheaters. All men are dogs. All men are players. Women are, jealous. Women are possessive. Right? How often do we say these things, right? All of us have said or heard these things. And so we are agreeing into a collective consciousness, and therefore our system is so fucking brilliant. If you are abiding by that, okay, yes, this is true, then that's what you're going to attract. And so using our mind, our being to serve us versus enslave us. We've all heard this because we're all doing this work, right? So we have the ability to shift our mind in the moment. What do you choose to believe? Do we believe that people can change? I would say yes, because we've all changed in some manner, right? So therefore, we have to believe that someone else can change. And do we want to use our being to put our focus on trusting that, or trusting the inevitable that something's going to go wrong? So I bring up this subject because a lot of the time in the spiritual community, we understand this concept. We use it across the board. We use it in our businesses and manifesting things and all of these things and meditation and being our highest selves. But when it comes to love, we stop this because we're scared, because love is scary. It is, because it's complete surrender. You cannot know what's going to happen in love. Even if you are married and you've committed, shit can still go down. So it's a constant choice to surrender into the unknown. And as we are all here, we can understand the deeper layers of ascension and enlightenment and all of these things, is choosing to surrender into the unknown, into the void, into the space of nothingness. And that's what love is. Love is a consistent choice into expansion, into a deep well of surrender. It's choosing to go with the part of you that wants to trust versus not trust. And now I say this because there's little nuances here. The most important thing for all of us is to learn how to trust our intuition. Our intuition is our body and our being. It's speaking to us in every single moment. So the red flags of a partner who's being disloyal or whatever the thing is, if our intuition is feeling that, answer that call. Doesn't necessarily mean you have to break up with that person or it's done, but it means answer the call and bring it forward. That's what love is asking us to do in every moment. Bring it forward. Let it be known. Let it be seen. Let it be present. Let it be spoken about. So, does anyone have any particular questions before we go down another road? Or insights? Anyone can type, or if you want to use your voice, I'm happy for either. Mm-hmm. 333, yes. Anyone?
Yeah, I was about to type it, but it's kind of long, so I'll just speak. So, like, I really believe everyone deserves love, whether they have healing to do or perhaps they're not the right person for you. I also believe that they are the right person for you in that moment. And so, my experience with my partner, he's kind of avoidant, and he's not always meeting my needs. So I guess, like, my question is, I just want to keep sending him love and hoping that he'll find his path and do his own work when the time's right. And yeah, I'm not too sure how to I think I'm emotional right now, and I'm not able to really, like, put words together to form a question for you, but I'm just.
I think I get it.
Yeah, thanks.
You did a great job. Thank you so much. I think it's a beautiful thing to address the energy of avoidance and anxious, all the attachment theories, all the things. For me, I believe that the most important thing in relationship is communication. And even more so, conscious communication. So I'll give a little, like, that's where I was going to go anyway. So it's a perfect, beautiful segue, Melanie. So thank you. Is, first of all, our responsibility for happiness is our own. That's where we start, right? Is how to fill our own cup every single day, so that our need for another is an addition onto number one. But the second thing is, my husband is also avoidant, so I deeply understand. And we've gone through such a journey around this. So the tools of conscious communication that, oh, my friends say I should dump him. Okay. All right. I see now. Even better. Thank you, Melanie, for the clarification. So before I go into conscious communication, dynamics. This is something that people don't talk about a lot. Dynamic is so important. Everyone does deserve love. 100,000,000,000%. We are love. That's what we all are. We are all completely 100% love. That's what we come from. That's where we will go. That's where we exist as. And so the deserving of love is also having that awareness to come back to self. But dynamic is so important because you can have two epic people, but them together, no bueno. And I've seen this happen countless times because my husband and I coach couples all the time. And you can have two literally epic human beings whom you love so deeply and who you would think, but when they come together, they they throw their poles off. What I mean by that is what people mostly talk about is masculine, feminine, but yin and yang, presence and creation. They throw each other into their underdeveloped aspect by the dynamic that they play, or they tend to fight more. So dynamic is a huge thing. The dynamic of I'm dating this woman right now and she wants to have kids and I'm too young. It's not that you guys don't go well together, but you don't have the same trajectory. And to try to fix you or fix them to make the trajectory work is going to leave both of you in resent versus just saying, thank you so much for what just happened, what you just expressed in the beginning, Melanie. Thank you so much for what this happened. And let's move forward. So dynamic is really, really important to understand in relationship. Love is, trigger warning. Love is not always enough. Love is not always enough, my loves. Sometimes you love someone so much that you let them go. That's what real love is. And another aspect that comes up often is you can be with someone, I had this experience with this person that the energy was just like, wow. And there was so much chemistry and it was fire. And it was like, oh my God, I'm supposed to be with this person. But it was not sustainable. Right? And that's what we often find ourselves in, these explosive, passionate relationships where you're fucking and fighting all the time, but it's not sustainable. Right? My husband and I have been together 8 years and it is sustainable. It just keeps on getting better. Maybe it's not as like what either of us previously thought as exciting or passionate because we weren't arguing all the time. So just because you want someone to get somewhere doesn't mean they will. So the most important thing in relationship that I feel is in order to work together is willingness. If people don't have the willingness, you can't do anything. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't force them to drink. So if you are showing up consistently and they are not, number one, there's nothing wrong with you. Number two, there's nothing wrong with them. It might just be a dynamic thing. And that is really, it sounds so simple, but it's really, really present for most of us. You're with the person that makes you, oh, well, I need to play small for them to feel better. Or I need to, hurry up and do this because they want to do that. There's all these things versus just having the willingness to think that love is not, there's not a limited amount of love. There's not a limited amount of love. There's not like, oh, there's this amount of love in the world. And if I break up with this person, I'm never going to find love again. That is bullshit. That's just scarcity. And that's okay. And that's beautiful because if you are aware of it, then you can address it. So dynamic is a real, real thing. How do you want to feel in relationship? Who do you want to be in relationship? I want to feel, I'm imagining that everyone here has a similar desire. We all want to serve. We all want to be on purpose. We all want to experience ourselves at our highest. So we're called to do these things, right? So it doesn't make sense to be with someone who doesn't let you be in your highest. But then at times we think, I'm using this example because this is a very present one. A lot of the times I see this. It's not like, oh, well, I'll just love them a little bit more and then they'll get it. They might just not understand it. And that's okay. It doesn't mean you're wrong. It doesn't mean they're wrong. It just means it's a dynamic. So let me read what Chelsea said. I'm seeing love as a feminine and the relationship container as a masculine. And sometimes we want to force that love into a container when the container isn't fully agreed to or wanted identically. Yes. Yeah. I mean, the other thing that again, the terms can be masculine, feminine. It can be yin, yang. I also like to use presence and creation. We all have all of these energies inside of us. It doesn't matter who we are, what we identify with. We all have these energies inside of us. It's our relaxed state, our surrendered state, and our active, container state. And now you can be in a dynamic with someone that pushes you into more of an unnatural part of you. So like I have a lot of yang energy in me. I'm a natural born leader. So if I'm not with my husband, I am very likely leading the pack. I'm like, okay, we're going here. It's what we're doing. Blah, blah, blah. And then I met my husband and he was so in his yang that it was like, oh my God, for the first time in my life, I'm like, oh my God, I can relax. Like and I all of a sudden got to experience all of this yin energy within me and allowed me to trust this part of myself and learn about this part of myself in a way that I never had before with any other partner, because I was always the more yang energy. So it didn't allow me to actually surrender, to be in my juiciness, to be in my softness. So that can happen a lot, right? My friend, the other expression that I think is so amazing is, are you the pole or are you the flag? I'm a super strong energy, so I have a tendency to be the pole. But my husband plays the pole, so I can just fucking be my flag. And I can just express. And of course, we're going to switch at times. We all do. We have these energies. We will move and we will groove. But if you are the flag and you meet someone who wants you to be the pole, you are going to eventually resent them. And it's not about them being wrong or you being wrong. It's simply about the dynamic not being cohesive for you to be at your highest. That doesn't mean they can't be in your life. Doesn't mean that you can't share deep love with them. It just might not be that particular expression. So I want to do my little sensual thing, but I'm just going to really quickly touch upon these little tools that I think are so profound and are really the basis of so much of the work that I do, is how to express yourself using conscious communication. So the simplest tools that I like to use is from my perspective. So there's a very, very different feeling of this is what happened to, well, from my perspective, what I experienced was blah, blah, blah. So remembering that when we as beings experience any sort of shame or blame or guilt, we immediately go back to our formative years where we're in trouble from our parents or our authority figure, right? So anytime someone goes like this or says something like, you did this, it's like, chuck, you're closed down. You can't even hear what they're saying. So when we're talking and connecting with each other, when you use from my perspective, you are speaking about what it is that you experience. And we all know this, right? We can all look at the same exact tree, and every single one of us are going to see something different because we come from different perspectives. So when we use this languaging, it really helps us to talk about a situation from a witness perspective versus being in like a boiling pot of water. Watch the water boil versus sitting in the pot. The next aspect is I'm witnessing a part of me that feels like so. So this is huge because our tendency is to work in absolutes, right? Which is another thing that we talk about all the time. I'm furious. Every single part of me is furious. I hate you. You're stupid. Versus I'm witnessing this part of myself that feels hate and feels anger. So you're noticing that it's not all of you that feels that way. And when you do that, it takes the edge off. It allows you to relax a little bit and hear again what the person is saying. So I'm witnessing a part of myself that feels like I want to run away. I'm witnessing a part of myself that feels crazy right now. Third thing is the story that I'm making up is. This is a huge one and can trigger a lot of people, but it's so fucking powerful and profound. We are masters at making up stories. We are literally the masters of it. The stories that we can make up in our mind, again, right? Using our mind to serve us versus enslave us. So a perfect example is yesterday morning, we had a scheduling conflict and my husband said, we'll just take 2 separate cars. And I really don't like taking 2 separate cars. So I expressed, even though it seems so simple to him, I said, the story that I make up is that you know how much I hate driving separately because I like being with you because we're going to the same place. So the story is that I make up is that when you choose to do that, it's because you don't actually want to be with me and that hurts me. It makes me sad. So I'm able to show him the the crazy that's happening inside of me versus just going straight to, I can't believe you fucking did this, blah, 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 blah. So all of this is really sort of in the realm of going from being the I to being the witness. So you're watching what's taking place inside of you and you are helping to express to the person opposite what's taking place. Yes, exactly, Jessica. Speaking radical, vulnerable honesty. Transparency is the key. And how we are transparent is the key. So that these are beautiful tools. And then the aspect of no absolutes. You always do this. You never do this. That's bullshit. No one always or never does anything. But when we say that, if you say, you never do this, what the person opposite of you feels is like they've never been seen before. In that moment, it's like you don't see all the effort that they've put in and it makes them contract. So remembering that the thing that we all desire, every person in the entire world, to be seen, to be received, to be loved, to be heard. So the last aspect of this is our tone, the cadence of our voice. It's as you've seen this in my little explanation right here, right? There's a difference between, I can't believe you did this. I saw you talking to that person and you were flirting with them and it made me feel you're fucking blah, blah. It's all like, everyone's like, immediately closed down versus, wow, my love, I'm noticing a part of me that feels really shut down right now. The story that I made up is that you went over and talked to that person and from my perspective you were flirting and it made me feel like you don't love me, and it's a very different experience. And therefore you can actually talk about what's happening versus just being in the pain of the moment. So the last thing, and then we'll go into a little practice, is using your mind to talk from mind to mind versus talking from heart to heart. That alone is such a game changer, especially when you're communicating with a more masculine or yang energy. If you try to reason with their mind, they'll, run you in circles and they're going to shut down. They're going to try to logistically understand. But if you're speaking from heart to heart, as Jessica expressed, you are open, you're vulnerable, you're allowing them to see you. And when you can see someone's pain, what they're experiencing, what does that do? It opens you. So just that energetic of understanding coming from here down to here. Your voice is up here. I'm really, really angry, to my voice is here. I feel really, really angry and sad right now. Okay. So we have 9 minutes left. So let's do a short little gorgeous practice and just get into a little bit of a sensual space. So wherever you are, close your eyes. awareness into your physical body. And then one last time, just do a little bit of a shake, shaking everything out. Letting out a sound. Letting go of anything in your space, shaking out the jaw. Look a little crazy, look a little weird. Yes. Beautiful. Bring all of your energy into your heart space. Feeling your heart beating, feeling your energy expand. Being present, allowing each exhale to bring you deeper, relaxing every single.
Hey Rachel, really quick before you go into that, can you share your music in your computer because it's cutting off your voice? There's just a little setting that says your computer sound. Ah, you are. It's cutting off your voice a little bit.
You know what? Well, then just fuck the music. Let's just go with the voice. Okay, so let's just drop back into the body. We're not going to let anything stop us from experiencing the deepest, most profound love, right? Can I get a hell yes? Say hell yes outside to yourself. Hell yes. That's the game, my loves. What are you choosing in the moment? So bringing your awareness into that heart space. And now bringing your awareness all the way to the base of your spine. And now for the next few moments, all you want to do is focus on breathing, inhaling and exhaling through the base of your spine. It sounds so simple, just continuing to inhale and exhale through this space. Listening to my voice, going at your own pace, being the creator of your experience, and allowing each breath to bring you deeper into your body, deeper into the senses, allowing it to get sensual, feeling everything slowing down, every breath tickling every single part of your spine, all the way up to the crown of your head. Merging all of your energies together, beating as one, not needing to do anything, simply feeling. And wherever you are, just gently start rocking your hips forward and backward. This is a very gentle movement. Just forward and backward, enhancing the connection to the base of your spine, focusing the energy there, and imagining as if you're receiving energy from the core of the earth. Feeling it writhing all the way up through the base of your spine, penetrating you and swimming throughout your entire body and being. Gently just feeling that. Remember, inhaling and exhale through the base, focusing your energy there. And now bringing either one of your hands up to gently tapping on your chest and simply repeating out loud after me, continuing the rocking. I trust you. I trust you. I forgive you. I forgive you. I am open to receiving love. I am open to receiving love from within me. I am an infinite well of love. that I now will receive. I deeply love and accept myself. I deeply love and accept myself. All of the pain that I've experienced allows me to experience deeper love. All the pain that I've experienced allows me to experience deeper love. I deeply love and accept myself. And then coming to stillness and breathing in through the base of the spine, all the way up to the crown of the head, feeling your body buzzing, opening, receiving. The simplicity of this moment, of your awareness focused on receiving the love that is within you. Wherever you are, breathe all the air out. Deep breath in through the nose. And a big sigh. You can gently open your eyes as I see we're coming to the end. Any last little questions or insights from anyone?
I realized that I have to deeply and like love everything and everyone around me since they're like an extension of me. So I had that insight.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Nicole. It's so beautiful. Yes. We're all coming from the same thing, the same being. Yeah. Acceptance and love is profound and powerful. It's not easy, but it is rewarding.
I came in late and your energy caught me so perfectly. I sat down and started reading it. And then I said, I don't care. I'm just going to do it. And I had such a grand time.
Oh, yay.
And I've been here at this thing and I am sorry that I had to take a walk, but gosh, I wish I had more of you. Thank you. You were wonderful.
Thank you, Stephanie. That means the world to me. There's always more, tons more. Thank you. Yay. Beautiful, Renee. Thank you so much for that. Yes. More. Me too. Thank you all so much. This was such a joy. And I mean, I love this subject so much. Everything that I teach around is love and sensuality and being in the body and owning and accepting all of who we are and celebrating the fuck out of it. So we're obviously all in the same energy. So let's continue to rise together, to celebrate each other, to empower each other, to be permission slips for each other. As I say all the time, I liberate you so that I can feel more liberated, and I liberate me so you can feel more liberated, because we have to do this together.
So beautiful. Thank you so much, Rachel. That was amazing. Can we all take ourselves off of mute and give Rachel some love, rubbing our palms together, giving a big Ashta hey.
Ashta hey.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rachel. All right. So for everybody here, we are moving into our Reiki hour. So we have done this at almost every festival, and this is super, super powerful. Can we have